Hosea 4:16. For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Now the Lord will feed them as a lamb in a large place. Okay, the backsliding heifer here he's talking about is the nation of Israel. And the Lord's going to feed them. He says he's going to feed them. At the first part, they're a heifer. And then all of a sudden they turn into a lamb that he feeds in a large place. So which is it? And is the heifer a good thing or a bad thing? I think just from reading it, you automatically know the tone of it is negative. The backsliding heifer, if a heifer was good, it wouldn't be backsliding. And the other thing he tells about them is I'm going to feed them in a large place, like a lamb in a large place. Jeremiah chapter 3. Jeremiah 3, verse 6. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there played the harlot. Okay, that's Israel. That's the connotation that he's referring to. Israel's backslidden, they're no good. So this feeding them like a lamb in a large place is not a good thing either. She's a rebellious cow. Look at Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5, verse 17. Here's the place they get to eat. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Okay, so this is just what Isaiah says in another place. I should have gave you the reference. All we like sheep have gone astray. So where would a stray lamb eat? He's wandering the country. He'll eat wherever he finds something to eat. God says, I'm going to take care of Israel even though I'm mad at them. You know, it's strange. God's a lot more merciful than man ever gives him credit for. He says over there that he feeds the ravens. And if he takes care of ravens, you know he's going to take care of you. A raven's an unclean animal, nothing special. So you can count on it. God always takes care of us. Even here, the backsliding Israel, he says, I'm going to let her feed, but she's going to have to find her own food. She'll be out wandering on her own in a large place. That's not good for a lamb to be in a large place. It's just going to wander and wander. It needs some boundaries. Stay right here and you won't get lost. The food is right here. This is where it is. The water's right over there. Somebody's watching for you. And that's, for Christians, that's what's good for us too, is to have some boundaries and to be in the spot where God's feeding and watering us. Look at Luke chapter 15. Luke 15, verse 4. Jesus here speaking. He says, What man of you having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it? Okay, that's Israel. Israel is lost. He's wandering around. You notice that God's been feeding Israel. He's been taking care of the nation. There's no reason Israel should be a nation right now. But God's taking care of them, even though they don't deserve it and they're not looking toward him. They've got some very wicked things they're doing in Israel. Extremely wicked. However, God's still taking care of them. Amazing. That's the way he does for this, as he said in Hosea. She's a backslidden heifer. She's going to be out there wandering by herself, but I'm going to make sure she gets something to eat. You can find little glimpses. I know a lot of people don't notice it because the tone of Hosea is negative. But you find glimpses all through the book of Hosea of the mercy and grace of God, even in the midst of him punishing them. And we better stop there. That's all we can do for tonight. We'll pick up at Hosea 4:17 next time.